Solferini here, founder of the Marco Polo Group. Today I'm going to talk about what are the traits of a winning company culture that really gives a huge competitive advantage to an organization and allows it to be more successful, more profitable, more valuable in the market. A business is basically a machine that creates value, and it's got two main things. One, great people, they got to have great skills and great character, and two, a fantastic company culture, which is the secret sauce that allows the company to survive and thrive. When you look at what the best companies in the world have in terms of characteristics of great value, these are the things that all of the top investors in the world look for. And at the heart of it is great people and great culture. And that's why it's such an important topic. And that's why we're going to delve into a bit deeper how it works, what's the recipe, and how to achieve it. A recent study by McKinsey showed that having an exceptional company culture will 3x at least the return to shareholders compared to normal companies. And if you look at existing studies from great leaders in the academic world like Kotter and all that, you'll see how it decreases productivity, profitability, return to stakeholders. So it's an absolute stated fact. And when I look at the sort of top traits that poor companies in the mid-market perform, poor organizational culture and design is about number 4. It's a very, very important one. And that's why we're putting it in the presentation today as a key issue to resolve. When I look at the companies that work with us and the CEOs that work with us, usually what I find is that the biggest problems are around culture. They don't set it ambitious enough. Mission, vision, values, what are the exact set of business behaviors that your company wants to reflect? How do you communicate that constantly by beating the drum of the culture in a consistent way, day in, day out, which is very draining, but unfortunately it's something that has to be done, right? They don't know how to retain top talent, and they don't know how to attract top talent because they haven't got this secret sauce right. So it's very, very important to create this culture by a very methodical process. And that's really the important thing that we need to sort out, because if you don't do that, you get the CEO hub mistake, which most CEOs find themselves in, which is they're the chief of everything. They can't outsource anything to their reports because they haven't built the right culture of super smart people who are empowered. They know what they do. They know what the set of behaviors are, which are acceptable and unacceptable. And as a result, the business suffers greatly. You've got to get this right. What you want to create is this. This is an example of a great team effort where you've got the skipper with a right-hand person who's helping with the guidance. You've got an incredibly well-recruited, high-caliber team of people who have not only got the right skills, but they've got the right character. They share the same value beliefs. They share the same behaviors. They understand what the rules of engagement are, and they're very well trained to be agile and perform well in order to create incredible results, right? It's like creating a great orchestra, right? And you need to do all of these steps. You need to set the culture, the values, the behaviors. You need to monitor and mentor people throughout the behaviors that you want to promote and those that you don't want to promote, right? And if you do that, obviously you create incredible value by building a world-class business. These are some of the amazing businesses that I've worked with over the years that I think have demonstrated these traits. And why do they have this, and what do they do? Well, they all have these things in common. They've all positioned themselves for absolute global excellence. So they position themselves to be the best in the world in what they do. And for mid-market businesses, is be the best that you can be in what you do in your field, in whatever it is that you compete with, whether it's national or internationally. They really try and get the best people possible. So the lesson is try and recruit the best people with the right skill fit and the right capabilities. Extremely thorough recruitment. So most mid-market companies don't do this anywhere nearly remotely enough. Not compromise about having high standards. So if you have even people who are competent but they don't fit with the values, you should get rid of them. But you've got to have people who've got the right values and are skillful, right? No compromise on that. A performance of excellence, de rigueur, not compliance on that at all. Very team-oriented, collaborative business. So if I look at the great businesses like the McKinseys, the Goldman Sachs, the Blackstones that I've dealt with, what excels with them is the collaborative nature. If you look at their mission statements and what they stand for, collaboration is really, really at the heart of it. A tight, loose structure, great companies like Macquarie Bank, I learned this from the CEO of Macquarie Bank, is that they have a tight, loose structure. That means they give very strict risk return parameters within each department. And then within that, people are allowed to be entrepreneurial and to be agile and move fast, right? No favorism, transparent, they invest in people, and they do constant ongoing training to reinforce the behaviors that they want and the behaviors they don't want. At the heart of it, though, you as the CEO and the leader have to be trusted by everybody, by the senior management team, by the people in the management teams underneath that, and by frontline people. And the key of all of this is trust. And what is trust? So I break it down into three key components. One is credibility. Two is reliability. Three is intimacy. So are you credible? Are you reliable in your behavior? And do you show your human side? Because in these changing times, we don't have the answers to everything. Everything changes way too fast. And if you're just real and human and fallible and empathetic, you're going to get results, right? So you gotta be all the left brain things. You've got to be very analytical. You've got to be very focused on what gets results, but you've got to be empathetic as well, and you've got to be real, right, to get results in terms of getting people on board. So people want to know that you care before they care what you know. This is super important, right? They want to know that you care. So lead with that. Keep messages short, lead with empathy, and communicate via trusted messengers when you want to scale up things and you can't be there with everyone. Get people in the senior team to reiterate the key values and behaviors that you want to promote. And if I look at what is the litmus test of these companies with great culture, what do they show that they've had? They've always looked forward. They identify problems quickly. They're proactive. They're always looking for the next iceberg to avoid and how to mitigate that, right? They focus on the merit ideas, not on finger pointing. So whenever you look at a decision point, whether it's an investment deal, whether it's a next decision for the business, look at the pros and cons and the merit. And it's all about the idea. It's all about the pros and cons of the merit, not about finger pointing, or you're right, you're wrong, or whatever, right? People are very creative and imaginative. They're trying to find new ways of solving client problems, new way of adding value to the business, and they've got an execution mindset as well. As the business grows, rules are minimized because as you get skilled people that have got the right skills, the right character, a culture that gives parameters of risk return, and then within it you have the tight loose structure, actually allows businesses to scale up, like the Macquarie Bank example I gave, because people know that within these parameters they can go freely and they can move fast and they can really be proactive. A freedom to act, reward well for excellence, pay people well, give them a great working environment, do not tolerate mediocrity, and as I said, character, being resilient, being very tough, and being able to handle the knocks, and being very resourceful with the assets of the company to create excellent returns on equity is the key to having a great culture. So what are the actual steps that you need to take in order to do this? Well, we split it down to about 6 things that we usually do to turn around the company culture when we go in and work with CEOs that they've got some major issues to solve in this very intangible area. So first of all, you define the behavioral changes that really will move the needle with business results, and find out what are the changes that need to be put in place very specifically, whether it's not sales orientated enough, or people accept mediocrity too much, whatever it is, right? You get very granular about it, right? Then you uncover the root cause mindsets that are driving these bad behaviors, right? And we need to redefine them, right? So what is the root cause mindset? Is it that we think we're not good enough, or we're not sales oriented enough, or we're a B team, or whatever it is, right? So you got to break those down. Then you create business initiatives to role model and reinforce the desired behavior. So key projects within each group, within each department, where the head of the department puts projects in place to promote the new behaviors, new type of people that we want. Adjust work to create a coherent employee experience that's self-evident, right? Create settings for individuals to overcome personal barriers of change. So be very, very conscious about the sort of settings that you want to put in place so that people can really bring the best of them and smash those barriers of change, and then lead the journey in a rigorous and employee-centric way, right? Which is, again, all about getting involved. It's all about leading with the heart, and it's all about being very, very proactive. So I wanted to give you an example. If you look at the Netflix presentation on its culture, you'll see that they believe and want these 9 behaviors to be repeated in the company, right? So they've got a thing where, hard work is not promoted, results are, right? And so it's all about delivering results, and it's all about excellence, and they really don't tolerate mediocrity. But, if you show these behaviors time and time again, you're going to move up. If not, you'll get a generous severance package, as they actually put in their staff documents, right? If you look. So this is a good example. You can look at the Goldman Sachs one, the McKinsey one, the Blackstone one, but they're all around these sort of behaviors, and how do you actually make them come true in real life, right? So what are actually some practical tips on those steps that I mentioned above? So be super focused on your people, treat them as individuals, customize your change on them, creates a sense of belonging in the firm, right? So make it a place that people are excited to come to work with a great mission, a great leader that they trust, who's got an exciting goal that employees that want to get up in the morning about and run to work so they can make it happen. Prioritize learning and development. Mentorship is key. So nowhere near enough mid-market companies have mentorship programs or do dynamic mentorship to build people up. Be patient during the process. Nothing here happens overnight. Building a culture is like building a bridge. You got to do one brick at a time, and it takes time. And then hire, retain culture magnifiers. These are the people that I call that represent exactly what you want to have in your company in terms of the secret sauce, and then they can replicate that for you. So that comes to the end of the presentation. I hope you found it useful. If you want to really move the needle with your business and make it much more successful, profitable, valuable, if you want to change the DNA of your company, we cover the whole gamut of the skill sets. We work with you to deliver excellent value. So if you're interested, just give us a call, and I look forward to working with you. In the meantime, action what we just discussed, and I look forward to you improving the culture of your business so it really hits it out of the park. All the best.